First off, I want to thank the grace of heaven and the virtues of the masters, the mercy of the grand predecessor, and transmitting masters for this opportunity to discuss this topic, staff member mindset and attitude. Okay. Let's see. All right. So what is a staff member? Right. You can say, yeah, we're staff member is basically the angel of the white era that helps conduct holy affairs, holy matters, and carries out heaven's mandate. Now, so heaven and earth cannot speak, for themselves, obviously, and they cannot do the propagating the Tao, can't ferry people, right? And even, the Buddhas and saints, the patriarchs, our predecessors, they're not here anymore. They're not with us physically. So heaven depends on us humans to carry out heaven's will, right? So we are now in a period of universal salvation, which is the mission of our holy teachers. As their disciples, right, the disciples of our holy teachers, we must help them carry out this mission, right? We are very fortunate to be alive today, to have received the Tao, and to be able to become helpers in this mission, right? So we should really think of it's an honor, right, to be able to help carry out this mission. Right? So can we abandon or neglect our duties? Right? Think about how fortunate we are today, right? We can transcend the cycle of life and death. But if we are not one of the handful of people who return to heaven right after receiving the Tao, then we are here because, well, we have karmic debts to repay. Okay, so, and what better way to repay those karmic debts than to help carry out heaven's mission of universal salvation? Right, so you see, then heaven is very merciful, giving us the best way to repay all our karmic debts in this lifetime. So then, what are the holy matters? Right, obviously, so it's to help, to ferry sentient beings to heaven. Right, heaven needs humans to conduct these matters. So it's conducted by humans with the help of heaven. Right, we speak or we teach the Dharma. We talk about the Dharma. We talk about the truth, basically. Guide and transform people. Right, we support the temple and the Tao community. And we're involved in other Tao activities. At the same time, we do our best to eliminate ignorance in people, well, not just people, but in ourselves as well, right? So that, they can be enlightened to this truth, right? We cultivate our true nature and our wisdom, right? We transcend life and death and enable people to become, saints and Buddhas as well. So that's, it's a big, it's a great mission, and to be involved in this, the duties and responsibilities as staff members. It's a great, like I said, it's really should be considered. We should consider it as an honor, okay, to be able to do this, right? So our holy teacher says, the scope of a staff member's duties is actually very broad. Right? It's not just showing up to a Dharma class or a regular class. It's as long as we are performing heaven's work, which are the holy matters, then whether that be the Tao transmission and propagation, okay, or Dharma class or other classes, encouraging and guiding the Taokin or Tao members, right, helping a Tao member or inquiring about their well-being to understand their hardship or difficulties. Right, these are what staff members do. So it's right. It's not just done in the temple. Okay, so it's not just staff members don't just show up in the temple and then what they're doing in the temple is what is their duties. But it can be outside, right? It could be anytime we are helping sentient beings or helping other Tao members. That is part of our duties. So it's pretty broad. Although we have specific duties, I guess. Like for example, being a lecturer. Okay, so we have to teach, give classes. but we're also staff members. Everyone really, from a staff member or, from a staff, what we call a staff member who taken the staff member vow, temple hosts, vice temple hosts, speakers, lecturers, and translating masters, we're all staff members, okay? And so, besides the specific, the vows that we took as, for whatever it is, we should all remember that we are our staff members, and anything that a staff member should do, then we should also be able to do as well. Okay, so it's not like, oh, once I become a lecturer, then I don't do any cleaning. That's not true. Okay, so if we become like that, then really, that's wrong. Okay, so we are always a staff member, no matter what other I guess title we may have. Okay. All right, so with that in mind, then, we talk about different aspects of the staff member, and you can say that we're talking about the mindset and attitude, and obviously in how we conduct ourselves. Okay, so conducting the matters, we should be efficient and cautious in conducting matters. Right, so we do things wisely and efficiently, not wasteful of effort and resources. So this is something that, I mean, there's always room. Sometimes we do things, right? We just, this is I'm performing some duty, or I'm trying to accomplish some task. I may do it in a certain way. Everyone may do it in their own different way, which is, I mean, that's not wrong. Okay, that's okay. It's just that we need to try to be more efficient when we do things. Okay, so yeah, it's possible that some people they do something and it takes them an hour, but maybe if we were more efficient, we could do it in half an hour or 15 minutes, right? So these things we have to be aware of, and we might be given some advice or suggestions as to say, oh, this is how we can do it better or more efficiently. Then we should, accept that, right? And try our best to be more efficient, because well, first of all, the resources, time is a valuable resource that we should not waste. And so if we can do something in half the time, then we saving on that resource, right? Plus, effort and everything else. And then not to mention like the other material resources that we might use. Let's say cleaning, for example. We're cleaning, don't go overboard and like use too much of the cleaning product. It becomes wasteful. Okay, so we just use enough to do the job. All right, for example. All right. Public and private, holy and mundane matters, right? They all must be conducted properly and not done haphazardly. Obviously, we have to understand the difference between, what's public. Sometimes you say public and holy, okay, and then or private and mundane, okay. So the temple, the temple is public, right? So the temple, everything in the temple is public, and you can say any of the holy matters, right? So conducting the Tao, propagating the Tao, these things, that would be public, okay, considered public or holy, all right. And then the private or personal stuff and mundane stuff, okay, that's kind of the other category of things. What we normally do in day to day in everyday life. So we have to make sure that because there are rules, right? We have rules in the temple about we shouldn't mix these things, right? And making sure that, but doesn't matter, whatever we're doing in whether it's public or private, we should do it well. Okay, do it properly, right? Don't. Some people, they might say, oh, for their personal stuff, they do things well because it's for them, right? Then when they're in the temple, maybe they don't care as much, and they just do they aren't as diligent in doing something, and so that's not right. It should be the same. Okay, so if anything, I mean, you could say maybe we should we should care more about the public stuff, the holy stuff, right? And yeah, so there's we don't do it haphazardly. Make sure maybe we have to plan things out, do things properly, and make sure we're doing it. Following the instructions, if we're given instructions, and doing it in a way that doesn't cause any problems. Okay. And despite the heavy responsibilities and a long path of cultivation ahead, we must shoulder the mission without fear. Okay. So we shouldn't shirk or shy away from our responsibilities and mission. Right. So we all have this duty as white ear angels to help carry out this universal salvation mission. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be daunting. It's like, oh man, there's, it's like there's so much that we need to do, or it's like such a great, I mean, a big or difficult tasks, responsibilities. But try to we just take it one step at a time. Okay, take it one step at a time. Try to accomplish it in the best way possible. Okay. And because it's so we can't. Sometimes we have to pace ourselves. Okay, so avoid burnout, right? But anyway, so it's steady. Be more steady, and maybe even if it's not as fast paced, but that will get us there. We will be able to achieve confidence. So yeah, we should not fear. Don't be afraid that we cannot complete something, cannot do something. These are we have to kind of build. You say we need to have that confidence, that self-confidence, build up that confidence to be able to say, even if we don't know something, we can learn it, right? We have to have that confidence that we can learn something. Okay, learn to do something if we don't know how to do it. Okay, and so if we have that attitude, that mindset, then there's nothing that we wouldn't be able to do. I mean, obviously there's maybe certain skills that we don't have, and yeah, maybe it's hard to learn those, or we cannot learn those. Then okay, obviously, we're not everyone is fit to do every single type of task. Okay, so every type of thing. So obviously whatever suits us, but we try to do, right? Okay, so in doing that, then we should manifest the four immeasurable minds. You can say those are the qualities you're doing this. So the infinite loving kindness. Okay, so this is basically it's kind of like a motherly love and kindness, right, to everyone. So we shouldn't obviously we want to give others happiness and a feeling of contentment, right? Don't make others feel vexed or upset. In terms of like the balanced compassion. Okay, so yeah, basically we're trying to reduce people, not cause suffering, and try to reduce suffering and try to understand people when they're suffering. Okay, so sympathize, and pity others. Right, try to save them from suffering as much as we can. Guide them to leave the suffering and gain happiness. The limitless happy joy or rejoicing with others. So it's it should make us happy to see when other people have good fortune or they're happy, right? Okay, so when others people succeed, they achieve, then we should be happy for them. Okay, that's called rejoicing. That's this happy joy. And and the idea is getting closer to the idea that yeah, we are one, right? We are one. So when they're achieving, I'm achieving, right? When they're happy, I'm happy. Okay, so and then the infinite equanimity, or you could say relinquishment, is one way. Selfless giving. Then yeah, we can. Obviously we can perform those three types of charities: material giving, the giving of dharma, their teachings, and I guess the effort. We typically say giving of effort, but it's also giving people confidence as well, right? Encouraging them to be able to overcome. So yeah, so we give of oneself to for sentient beings, save and fairy sentient beings, and we can to let sentient beings be happy, right? And in doing so, when we're giving, then we're forgetting the self, right? The ego. Okay, so that's a very important part of the cultivation, okay, is to get rid of that right part of the four images, the self, right? So, and in every thought, every word, and every action it's the Tao. It's like representing the Tao. Okay, it's manifesting the Tao. So that's kind of the ultimate, right? Okay. Now, in terms of learning the Tao, okay, so we must be willing and eager to learn diligently, right? So we have an interest in studying and learning the Tao principles. So that's obviously, in anything, in any endeavor, in any pursuit, if we have to have that interest, right? If we're not interested, we're not going to learn. Okay, so we have to be interested in it, okay, and in studying and learning these Tao principles, because these are the principles that we have to follow. These principles will guide us in our cultivation and ultimately to be able to transcend. Okay, so they're very important. Now, so we also should, thoroughly learn and ask questions when in doubt. A lot of times, especially maybe for those who are more, or anyone who has like their own views of things, or like I was going to say, like some more scientifically minded people. They have, obviously science has its view of how things work in the universe. And so when we hear stuff, we might think, well, that's not what science says. And then so we might have our doubts, but we need to ask questions. We need to try to thoroughly understand things. And that because if we still have doubts, that will be kind of like a hindrance, an obstacle in our cultivation. Okay, so we need to clear them up. And we have to internalize what we learn and differentiate the principles. Okay, so yeah, so it's not just like academic knowledge, like, oh, we learn, okay, this is the principle, but we have to, by what I mean, internalizing it is then it becomes part of us, okay? And so whatever we do, it's applying those principles. And we don't have to think about it, say, oh, this principle, I need to apply this. No, it just becomes natural. Okay, so that's what I mean by internalizing. It's like it becomes a part of us. Okay, and so yeah, and then the principles, we have to understand that the principles are absolute in the sense that they don't change. Okay, but when they are applied in this world or in any situation, right? Situations change, right? Situations are different, and so we have to have, you can say this, we need that wisdom to know how to apply these principles in each situation. Okay, so when you're applying principle A in one situation and you apply the same principle in another situation, well, it may be slightly different. Okay, And that would depend. Okay, so it depends. And so we can't be stuck and fixed, say, oh, it's only done this way, right? A method, when we say a method, that's not the principle. The principle is behind, is the, what is it, the underlying thing, I guess, the truth or whatever of a method. A method is, you can have many different methods, okay, depending that apply that same principle, right? So we have to understand that. So, and sincerely put the principles into practice in all matters. Okay, so again, we're not doing it for show. We're not doing it, like putting a temple. Oh, okay, so this is how I'm supposed to act and then conduct myself. But then when I'm outside, then I don't care or whatever. But then that's kind of like for show, right? You're just doing it for show because, well, you're in the temple and they expect that. So we have to be sincere, right? And then we need to replenish ourselves with the Dharma and study the scriptures. So yeah, there's the learning, right? Is nonstop. Okay, it'll never end. There's always something to learn, and so we need to. And I think Holy Teacher said, right, we should we need to learn and to learn more. I mean, there's a lot that we don't know, okay, that we haven't learned yet. So we should continue to learn. Don't stop learning. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so when we learn more, the more we learn, right, the fewer mistakes we will make, right, and we cause fewer problems. And then we also then will avoid getting involved in matters that we shouldn't, right? Because then we know better. Okay. Okay, so in learning, right, we should aspire to the four great Buddha vows, right? Vow to ferry the countless sentient beings, vow to cut off this endless worries, vow to learn the boundless dharmas of the Buddhahood, and vow to attain the unsurpassed Buddha enlightenment. Okay, so that's kind of you can say, yeah. So what we just talked about is kind of extension, or if we follow these these vows or carry out these vows, that's what we do. Okay. Now, so in terms of observing the rules and disciplines, okay, so we should be respectful and sincere in our conduct and what we do, right? We follow the rules of each time and place. So there are rules, right? There are rules everywhere, but rules can either change, or you have different sets of rules depending on where and when it is. Okay, so we have to be mindful of that. And so then we follow the rules even when nobody is watching. Okay, so this is very important. That, yeah, again, it's not, we're not following the rules because of because of other people, right? Because, oh, they're watching or they're noticing. We're following the rules because of ourselves, because our Buddha nature. Okay, so we have to remind us that nobody's watching, but our Buddha nature, we are aware, right? Heaven is aware, earth is aware, right? But so we can't fool anyone. I mean, we might fool other people around us, but we can't fool ourselves. Okay, so our conscience knows whether we're doing what we should be doing, right? And so be flexible but careful in conduct and matters based on the situation. Again, this is the case of different situations might require different methods or approaches to how we do things, or what we do, what we say. Okay, so that's yeah, not, the same words, we can say the same words in one situation, but, it may be inappropriate in a different situation, even though it's following the same principle. So we have to be careful. And we have to be, flexible to be able to, to change that, to know to say something different or to do something different in each situation. Okay. And, in terms of like financial transactions, that's very important. They have to be clear and, without mixing, personal matters in it or personal finances, and we have to understand and follow the protocol and the system that's in place in the temple, right? The clear, okay, so obviously the transactions, right, they should be clear and transparent. Nothing's like secret, we bought something secretly or we spent this money secretly. That you cannot do that, right? The other thing about being clear is that, when people make donations and they say, oh, this is for a particular purpose, then that needs to be clear and it should be used only for that purpose, unless, we can, ask them, oh, to change if we don't have a need for that. You can say, oh, maybe can we use it for something else? But then we need their permission. Okay, so these are things that we have to understand. It's not just, oh, once we get the money, we can do whatever we want with it. That's not true. Okay, so all right. Yeah, and then follow the protocol and system. So like if we're spending, buying stuff that's expensive, generally over $500, then we need then it has to go through a little procedure. We have to get approval, all that. Okay, so again, it's got to be all very transparent. Okay, what we're doing, because there's nothing hidden here. Okay, no, cannot have any secret stuff in terms of the financial matters, right? Okay, so right, and so in observing, we need to observe the three clear distinctions. Okay, so we talked about these before, right? So distinction between holy and public, and mundane and private stuff. Okay, and then also there's distinction or clear boundaries between male and female, and the distinction are clear and transparent in financial matters and transactions. So these are, kind of, remember we have the three clear distinctions and four proper conducts. Okay, so these things cover that. Basically, yeah. So we kind of cover that. Well, so like in a temple, so we have clearly we have kind of separation between the male and female, and so the part of the purpose. Okay, yes. One thing is yeah, it looks more, I don't know, proper, I guess. There's obviously certain, like an etiquette or something. But it's also to avoid certain issues maybe that may come up, okay, if we're intermingling, all over, and it doesn't look as, as neat, I guess, or orderly, okay. All right. Okay, and then so the four proper conducts, right? The proper conduct of the body, which basically, you have the say discipline, kindness, forbearing, following infinity. Okay, we have to be, tolerant and forgiving and all that. Okay, so and then proper conduct of the mind, right? We want to get rid of the three poisons: greed, anger, ignorance. Proper conduct of the mouth, right? No. We don't talk nonsense, right? Double tongue talk, or flattery or hurtful words. Okay, and then basically we shouldn't gossip either. Okay, and then proper conduct actions. Okay, so our actions should be reasonable, right, and follow basically cardinal relationships, the five cardinal relationships, right, and the eight virtues. Okay, so so that's these are, so in observing, right, rules of disciplines, yeah, so it's basically, these are following these things, okay. And also observing the four taboos, or, you say prohibitions, right? See no evil, right? Basically don't look at what's improper or inappropriate, right? Hear no evil, do not listen to what is improper or inappropriate, speak no evil, do not say what is improper or inappropriate, and do no evil, which is do not do what is improper or inappropriate. Now, well, what is improper or inappropriate, right? So obviously, if it's breaking the rules, breaking the law, that we shouldn't be doing that. If it's if whether those rules or laws can apply to, they can also be like moral. I'm not saying like civil. There could be civil rules and laws. Then there's also the moral rules and laws, right? That we should not. And so some of the, I guess the precepts, talk about that, right? So it's like, you say no lust, or, that kind of stuff. Yeah, this should be pretty, everyone should be able to understand this. I guess sometimes we might fall into the thing where, it's just something that maybe out of habit or things that we do that we don't necessarily think is improper or inappropriate. But it could be. And then so, we have to be careful. Okay. And I also think that there should be a do not think no evil, right? There should be a think no evil as well. Okay. But okay. So in terms of the self-cultivation aspect, we have sincere intentions and an upright heart. So Tao cultivation is to cultivate the heart and mind, right? Basically, that's what, because it's our heart and mind that is no longer following our true nature, our Buddha nature. Okay, it's no longer following our conscience, and therefore that is what we need to cultivate to correct ourselves, so that it is in accordance with our conscience and our Buddha nature, true nature. Okay, and so let's see. Oh, okay. So we should conduct Tao matters to our utmost ability. So do the best of our, do the best that we can, right? That's part of the, like in the 10 great vows, we say we do the best we can. Actually, pretty much in all the vows that we would take, it always says that. Okay, so we do things to the best of our ability. Okay. Now, obviously, we know what well, sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we have to push ourselves, or we be pushed, and we can actually do more than we thought we could do. But anyway, so we should just, we should do what we can, right? And don't dwell on the good and the bad. We have to get out of this mindset of duality. Okay, say, oh, this is good, this is bad, or we just do our best, right? Do our best. So it's neither good nor bad. We just do our best, right? We can do our best. Whatever the situation, improve it and then let it go. Okay, so yeah, so there's a lot of times we're doing things, and then someone might, like I mentioned earlier, about maybe something takes us a long time to do. Hey, maybe there's a better way to do it, right? So we should either, we shouldn't, we should have this mindset of constant self-improvement. Okay, so don't think that, oh, I'm already doing it the best possible way. Maybe, but maybe not, and most likely not, probably. So we should think, well, is there a better way to do this? A more efficient way to do something? Okay, so, and if we can't think of it ourselves, we need to accept if other people offer the advice or guidance or suggestions, then we should consider it. Definitely, we have to consider it. But then at the same time, okay, once we do that, then okay, so we let it go. So we don't dwell on something. We're like, okay, so once I do it, once I learned how to improve, I improve, and that's it. Okay, so don't dwell on that fact. But then, we might need to, again, it's like a stepwise thing. It's not like I'm going to improve to 100% right away. So it might take many iterations. So, right. Yeah. So that's, and then, whatever happens, right? Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, I wanted to mention something about the good and the bad, right? So no matter what, good and bad, maybe we have experiences, good or bad experiences, or the matters, keep those in our heart and mind, right? We should basically forget that we did some good deeds, right? And forget also that we were maybe someone, we were maybe mistreated or something. Okay, so we need to forget all that. Okay, so, and then in terms of like the situation, okay, so whatever happens, whether it's good, bad, it can be something big, a big matter or a small matter, right? We just try to make the situation better and then let it go. Okay, so don't, if someone screwed something up and then, we have to go fix it, don't hold a grudge, say, oh, this person, screwed up, and then keep bringing that up or keep thinking about it. I just do whatever it takes to make the situation better and then just move on. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of this, we need to nurture the 5 refined qualities of a Jinzu, which is a superior person. That would be, having kindness, tenderness, in treating others, and dealing with people, gentleness, yeah, and then kindness, giving respect, thriftiness and restraint. So, knowing, yeah, we shouldn't go overboard, right? We should also, know to conserve, okay? And then being yielding and as magnanimity. Okay, so we also need to say, oh, it's not. I mean, if we give someone advice, say, oh, this can be done better in this way. I mean, we can't force them. So sometimes, we have to just okay, let it go. I mean, if they're not willing to do it, or the other way around. If someone tells us something or something, yeah, we have to yield. Or sometimes, we need to, yeah, so everything, it's the idea ultimately is, we have to be more, I guess, harmonious, okay? And it's not necessarily about who's right, who's wrong, okay? Right, and now in terms of reporting to seniors or attention, okay, so we have to listen to the seniors, their instructions, and take responsibility for assigned tasks. Right? We conduct ourselves according to our position and capacity. Okay. Oh yeah, I mean we need to take, of course, seriously whatever task we are assigned. Okay, we should take it seriously, right? And earnestly try to fulfill it, complete it. And take responsibility of whatever happens. And okay, so in terms of yeah, sometimes we tend to I want to do everything. I want to do. We tend to kind of maybe step on other people's toes. We go beyond our boundaries, the limits of our position or our capacity, and so we need to be careful, mindful that we don't do that either. Sometimes we have to ask permission for to do something, and if we don't, or we say, oh, okay, like you say you're going to do this, but then we go beyond that, we do that, and then do some other stuff too, and that we weren't instructed to do or given permission to do. So we have to be careful. And when we're done with an assignment, then we should report back as well. Okay. So that, that's part of the, the 5, the 15 temple rules and regulations has one of these. Okay. So we should be sensible and reasonable in dealing with matters. Okay. And the truth of the Tao and respecting heaven's mandate can attest to the holy matter. So in the end, if what we are doing is for the Tao, for the true Tao, and we're doing it properly, okay, we're doing it appropriately, then in the end, we'll see that the result from that. Okay. And we should always, try to say positive and encouraging things. Okay. Now, okay, so here we also want to keep in mind the 9 considerations. Okay, we see clearly and understand what we observe. Okay, so we have to be clear, understand that what we're seeing is, we understand what we're seeing. Okay, so sometimes, you see something and someone else sees the same thing, but then, they come away with different conclusions or about what they just saw. Okay, so we have to be clear. Same thing with what we hear. Okay, understand what we're told, be told, be warm and friendly. We should be respectful in manner and demeanor. Okay, no matter, whatever the situation, be faithful and trustworthy with our words. Okay, so that's obviously very important that we have that, that we are trustworthy. What we say, we're going to do something, that we do it, that we follow through. Okay. And take matters seriously and do things earnestly. Right? We ask when in doubt and ensure I have questions. We think of the consequences before getting angry, right? So this is now usually, if we don't control our emotions and we get angry, we just have a sudden outburst, obviously, then, we're going to think of the consequences maybe too late. Okay, so we need to, that's why we need to, right, we have to get rid of our temperament, okay, the bad, that kind of temperament gradually, so that, we can be calm of mind, so we can think of, well, if I get angry, if I do whatever, and what are those consequences? Make sure to obtain benefits properly and justly. So we're not like trying to get things, getting benefits, but it's improper. Obviously, maybe we won't do things illegally, but there are a lot of this, like maybe you might think that it's a kind of a gray area that that would be maybe improper, where we're asking people for money or whatever. That's we got to be very careful. Okay. And then on the other half of there's reporting seniors and guiding juniors, so it's above and below, you can say, right? So we guide with kindness and mercy. We respect and follow the instructions of seniors, okay, and lead and guide, help the juniors. Now, the seniors are those basically who have more experience, who come before us, and those juniors are those who are newer, right? So we follow the protocol and dealings with, okay, the seniors and juniors. So there's kind of certain protocols, and that's one of the things you can say, the rules, regulations that we talk about. Then partly, it's to know what's going on. It's kind of like there's a chain of command or a communication channel between, like, let's say, the transmitters, the lecturers, and then the staff members, and then everyone else, right? So how the reporting structure goes. Now we have to know the proprieties and know what to do. Okay, so this is something that we should. That's why we have to learn. So we're here to learn. So we have to learn not just some of these principles, but exactly what are my duties, what are my responsibilities. Okay, and know what these proprieties are. The etiquettes and things like that. Okay, we have to elevate the virtuous and yield to those with ability. Yeah. So again, don't say, oh, I know everything, I can do everything. I'm always wanting to try to do things. But if other people are more capable or they have the ability, hey, we should let them. Okay, so that's part of the yielding. We have to learn to yield, right? We don't want to show off. We shouldn't be showing off, thinking that, oh yeah, I want to let everyone know that I know how to do this. Okay, there's no need for that, right? And those who are virtuous, hey, we should, try to promote them. Okay. Give credit and take responsibility for mistakes. Yes, this is basically giving credit to others and taking responsibility for other mistakes, other people's mistakes. Obviously, we have to take responsibility for our own mistakes, but we should. This is a hard one to do. Okay, is to even though let's say I did something, but I give someone else credit. Okay, let's say it's a team effort. Okay, obviously we should give effort to the team or other members. If there was a mistake done, then yeah, we should try to take responsibility for that mistake. Okay. Again, in a team situation, yeah, maybe. Again, this is not an easy one, and we should be proactive in doing things. Okay, so don't sit around. This again relates to knowing what we should do. Okay, knowing our duties and responsibilities, knowing what should be done. Then we can be proactive. We should be proactive and don't sit around waiting for someone to tell me, oh, this is what you got to do, right? Okay, so actually, so in this aspect also, there are three things that we hold in awe, right? So respect the decree of the heaven's mandate. Okay. We respect the person of great virtue and ability, and we respect the words and teachings of saints and sages. Right. So the heaven's mandate, yeah. So that the transmitting master has heaven's mandate. Obviously, the predecessors, the patriarchs, they all do. We should respect their instructions as well. Okay. And so those who came before us, right? The virtue, whether it's predecessors, patriarchs, or the transmitting masters, whoever, if they have the virtue, then we should respect that. And obviously their words and teachings or their guidance, we should also respect as well. Because we as humans, we tend to think, oh yeah, I know everything, I know better, right? But no, we don't. Because we're either we're ignorant or we're stubborn, in our views, and then so that's we don't see the whole truth. Okay, so we need to respect them. Okay, so yeah. So without them, it would be difficult to cultivate the proper path to become enlightened. Okay. All right. In our interaction with people, okay, we should be warm-hearted. Let's see. Yeah, eager but humble as well. Okay. So when everybody has different opinions, then yield to others, or else nothing can be accomplished. Okay. This is something that we encounter in meetings, right? People have different opinions about something. They say, oh, it should be like this, or it shouldn't be that way. And if nobody yields, then and if there's no yielding, that includes compromise, coming to some kind of agreement, then obviously you can't you don't go anywhere. Okay, so it wastes a lot of time. So we have to learn again to yield to others, right? Ultimately, well, in our meetings, of course, we vote. We can vote on it, and then obviously it's the majority rules. But yeah, we shouldn't, again, this is yielding is one of those qualities, we have to learn, we have to cultivate. Okay. Manifest the 8 virtues in conducting matters and dealing with people, right? Those 8 virtues: filial piety, brotherhood, loyalty, sincerity, propriety, righteousness, honesty, and sense of shame. And we also should, follow the principles, but do not follow sentiment. Okay, so principles, yes. So like the rules, they're set by based on some principles. We follow those. Sentiment then becomes, it's like favoritism. Okay, so it's like, oh, I like this person. I'm a friend with this person. This person can give me a benefit, so I follow them, or I listen to them, or I support them. So that's what we call sentiment, human sentiment. So do not do that. Okay, then we're just throwing principles out the window. We're not following principles. All right, so ultimately we have to follow principles. Okay, But like I said, principles are when they are applied, they're flexible. Okay. But again, never follow sentiment. Okay. Because that will, we cannot succeed in cultivation if we do that. Okay. So sincerely observe, and we also sincerely observe the three intersections. Okay. Okay. This is stated in a positive way as opposed to normally it says, it's a question, but say, so we have to be loyal and faithful in our duties and responsibility to others. We have to be sincere and trustworthy to our friends, and we have to practice what we have learned. Okay, so we've talked about these as well. Okay. All right, and then in family life, okay, we need to harmonize rather than stand on principles. Okay, so there's a balance. Okay, at home, although I mean, there's always a balance. Okay, there's always balance. Even in the temple or anywhere, we should try to harmonize. Again, don't say it's like, oh, right and wrong. Yes, we can, yeah, from a certain point of view, you can say yes. You can say you're right, but at the same time, right does not. I mean, we don't always need to make that point, so to speak. I mean, sometimes it's better to concede, to yield, right? And then you create harmony instead of conflict. And, so that's why, especially in the family, at home, that's, you lived with these people. So, you can't, you have to face them every day. So therefore it's better to be in harmony rather than, saying, oh, who's right and who's wrong, right? So do not gossip about who's right and wrong. Okay, so this is basically, gossiping is kind of useless talk and it's trivial stuff, trivial matters, right? Deal with situations appropriately and as needed, right? When don't, if there's nothing there, we don't, it's kind of stupid to create trouble out of nothing. Okay, so again, it's usually it's minor stuff, very minor, trivial things. Sometimes they can blow up into big things, but that makes no sense, right? There's no wisdom in that. Okay, so obviously in family, right? There's the 5 cardinal relationships. 3 of them pertain to the family. So you have parents. Should treat children with love, and children should treat parents with filial piety and follow the family rules. Okay, the husband and wife know their duties and love and respect one another, right? And then there's respect and orderliness between elders and youth, and we maintain a strong bond of this fraternity among them. Okay, so these are very important. In maintaining, if we can maintain these appropriate, the relationships. Then we should be able to achieve harmony. Okay. So holy teachers basically given us the 9 golden elixirs. So it says basically 3 things that we are not separated from. Right. I think I call them the 3 inseparables. Basically, the Tao temple, or you can say the Tao field, the Tao community, Tao temple. The predecessors, seniors, or the virtuous people, and also the scriptures. Scriptures could include other things like the teachings, the principles, all those things. Okay, so and then so the 3 things that we do not let prevent us from cultivating. Okay, so don't let, not to prevent. Okay, so well. Yeah, maybe I think I worded this thing. I'm not sure it is worded correctly, but basically these are the 3 things that can potentially prevent us from cultivating, but we should not let it do that. Okay, so when we fall into bad fortune or illness, these type of things, right? That can see that's it can cause a very difficult hardship in life, but we should not let that stop us from cultivating. Okay. So likewise, on the other end of the spectrum, we have fame, wealth, fortune, all these things that, when we have such a good life, we should not forget about cultivating either. Okay. So these are actually the 2 kind of categories, or these 2 ends of the spectrum that are very difficult for people to cultivate. you know, and we know that when we try to propagate doubts to people in these categories, you know, they're not interested because they're, you know, one is interested in just their survival, basic survival, and trying to, you know, because they don't want to think about anything else other than they're suffering or whatever. And then the other one is they don't want to think about anything else other than, you know, either making more money or, you know, enjoying their life. Okay. So, but as cultivators, yeah, we shouldn't let these things change our view or our aspiration to cultivate, or yeah. And then also people matters, right? There's always that, okay, gossip and other things, how people treat us, etc. Right? Don't let those stop us from cultivating. And then the three things that we should not forget, the Buddha mind or the Bodhi mind, okay, the golden thread, and our vows. Okay, so these are things. All right, oh, okay, so sorry, the conclusion then. So staff members are devoted to responsibilities of the shared mission between Buddhas and humans. Okay, so the Tao transmission is like the light that can eliminate darkness and the wisdom that can dispel ignorance. Right, so even it doesn't matter how long that darkness has been around, right? It's kind of interesting, right? Whether it's 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000 years, right? Once there's light, all that darkness is gone. So it doesn't matter how long it's been around. So the same with our ignorance. You know, it can that we have that prajna wisdom. Our ignorance is gone. Now, of course, we're not fully enlightened, so we're not fully, you know, for us, it's still a process. We gradually kind of dispel that ignorance, but you know, until we're fully enlightened, and you know, obviously, there is no shred of ignorance at all. Okay, so to have the affinity as a white ear angel and take on the mission of universal salvation of the three realms, it's a big deal. Okay, that's you know, we have that affinity, which is very special. And so it's not everyone who has, you know, has that. Now, from being lost to becoming awakened, right, enlightened conduct and actions bring satisfactory results. So this is, you know, it's this process going from this journey, going from, you know, being lost in this world to becoming awakened like the Buddha. Yeah, this, you know, this learning process, as this cultivation journey, right? It will bring these satisfactory results. Okay. And so, okay, and I guess that's it. Concludes this topic. If I had said anything wrong or unsatisfactory, I asked the Buddhas and saints for forgiveness, and I also asked transmitting masters lectures for their corrections. Finally, I'd like to dedicate this class, you know, the merits from class to our late lecturer, Jean Cito, who just recently passed away. But yes, I hope that she is, well, I know she is in a better place. Thank you.